Hey there, nostalgia lovers! Welcome to Nostalgia Area. Today, we're diving into the glorious, weird, and sometimes what were they thinking world of forgotten gadgets from the 1980s, when hair was big, pants were high, and your gadgets made more noise than your car. If you're ready to rewind to the era when your favorite gadget ran on 4 AA batteries and still died after 15 minutes, you're in the right place. So grab your Walkman, pop in a mixtape, and let's hit play. The war of the tapes begins and ends in heartbreak. Betamax was Sony's superior quality video format. VHS, though inferior in picture quality, won over the masses with 2 irresistible advantages: longer recording time and lower prices. The Betamax was like bringing fine dining to a backyard barbecue. Nobody cared. They just wanted more for less.
Very sharp edges, very straight lines. But its fit and finish is excellent, and the no-nonsense style almost makes it handsome.
Betamax's defeat was a lesson, proving that sometimes good enough beats perfect. The Casio calculator watch was the ultimate geek status symbol. Clunky, digital, and unapologetically retro. And those microscopic buttons were a true test of finger dexterity. One wrong move, and you'd either stab yourself or accidentally reset your entire calculation.
This one, thanks to its star status and the already mentioned nostalgia element, still has its place on the market.
Today's smartwatches might track your heartbeat, but do they let you sneakily calculate tips and look like a secret agent straight out of a Bond movie? Didn't think so. And hey, if you're feeling nostalgic, you can actually still get one of these today. Check out the link in the description if you want to relive your inner 80s mathlete. Before autocorrect and voice assistance, there was the Speak and Spell, the bright orange battery-powered tutor that promised to turn kids into spelling champions. With its futuristic, for the 80s, synthesized voice and chunky buttons.
R-A-I-N, that is correct.
It was like having a robot teacher trapped inside a plastic rectangle. This little gadget was revolutionary, one of the first toys to use speech synthesis, paving the way for every talking device that followed. The Commodore 64 was a hulking beige monument to 80s home computing. It was a gateway drug for an entire generation of programmers, gamers, and digital dreamers. Booting it up was an exercise in patience. That iconic blue basic screen didn't just load, it oozed into existence, slower than a sloth on NyQuil. But for many of us, it was our first taste of digital magic.
The Commodore 64 has more built-in memory than the others, and it's under $600.
And once it finally sputtered to life, magic. Games like Pitfall and Impossible Mission turned living rooms into arcades. The Commodore 64 taught a generation to code, to game, and to appreciate the beauty of a machine that tried its best. The Polaroid camera was the original instant gratification machine. No editing, no do-overs, just a loud snap, a whirring mechanical groan, and a blank square sliding out like a tiny piece of destiny. Then came the ritual, clutching the photo between your fingers, waving it like a mad scientist, and watching as ghostly shapes slowly sharpened into reality.
After dropping in the cartridge, tab side out, close the film door, and the dark slide will automatically eject.
Yes, Polaroid told us not to shake it, but let's be honest, we all did. Today, we take a dozen near-identical selfies before picking the perfect one to post. But Polaroids didn't do perfect, they did real. They captured life as it happened. Messy, awkward, and beautifully unedited. If you're into photography, there are modern Polaroid and Instax cameras that still give you that instant photo magic. Perfect for capturing memories, no filters needed. The Atari 2600 was the machine that turned TV screens into portals of adventure and made gaming at home a reality. This wood-paneled wonder, with its satisfyingly thick cartridges and clicky joysticks, didn't just play games, it defined them. It made us believe a TV could be more than just shows.
Now, I also got the paddle bundle included with my 2600 Plus, of course, and so we got to check out some paddle games.
It could be an escape, a challenge, a universe. And for that, it'll always be the original Gaming King. Want to get your retro game on? There are plug-and-play versions of these consoles available now, loaded with classic games. Who can forget the Sony Walkman? The revolutionary device that turned every sidewalk into your personal stage. Slap in a cassette, pop on those foam-covered headphones, and suddenly, your boring bus ride home became a front-row concert.
Until Sony had an idea to send all of their employees out onto the streets of Tokyo armed with Walkmans to demonstrate their high-quality sound.
Fast-forwarding to your favorite song, flipping the tape to side B, and even the occasional struggle with tangled tape. It was all part of the ritual. Believe it or not, there are modern cassette players styled like the Walkman that you can buy today. If you want to rewind, literally, check out the link in the description. The Rolodex was the satisfying tactile spinny tower of professional connections. This wasn't just a holder for business cards, it was a high-stakes game of business card roulette. Now it's a nostalgic desk relic, but back in its heyday, that spinning wheel of names was your LinkedIn.
They're designed specifically to work with a Rolodex. Each swatch is appropriately sized Rolodex holes.
Just with more paper cuts and way better style. No algorithms, no DMs, just pure, unfiltered networking, one thumb flick at a time. Before smartphones put a supercomputer in every pocket, there was the Sharp Pocket Computer, a gadget that blurred the line between calculator and full-blown PC. You could write rudimentary programs in BASIC, save notes, and even plot simple graphs.
The C is interpreted, I should mention. It's not a C compiler, it's interpreting C as BASIC.
The Sharp Pocket Computer was a glimpse into a world where everyone might code on the go. But in the end, it was just a little too awkward to replace calculators and way too limited to replace real computers. Still, for those who dared to tinker, it was a pocket-sized taste of the digital revolution to come. Ah, the boombox. A glorious, unapologetic marriage of portable music and public disturbance. It was a cultural icon, a status symbol, and occasionally a weapon of mass annoyance.
I think it sounds great. To be perfectly honest, my first unit was defective.
It turned sidewalks into block parties, bus rides into bass battles, and anyone carrying one into an instant DJ. Today's wireless speakers may be sleeker, but they'll never have the same raw, unbridled swagger of the OG Ghetto Blaster. The video disc player was a cutting-edge piece of tech that felt like it had teleported in from the year 3000. These glossy, oversized discs, some as big as vinyl records, promised crisp picture quality and crystal clear sound.
And the RCA video disc player connects easily and instantly to any TV set and gives you these useful features.
But the players were hulking beasts and the discs were pricey as hell. Meanwhile, VHS tapes were cheaper, more compact, and could actually record stuff. So unless you were a hardcore audiophile or just really loved showing off your futuristic disc spinner, the whole thing felt like overkill. Part calculator, part keyboard, and all genius, the Casio VL-Tone was the ultimate 80s oddball gadget. A cheap plastic marvel that somehow found its way into both Kraftwerk's studio and your cousin's cinderblock practice space garage band. On paper, it was a toy, a mini keyboard with a built-in calculator. Because why not? A primitive sequencer, and a demo button that played pre-programmed tunes, and yes, we all played Demo Song 1 like we were headlining Live Aid. Decades later, its quirky, crunchy tones still pop up in retro synthwave tracks and nostalgia-soaked YouTube covers. Photography meets flying saucer design. That was the vibe of Kodak's disc camera. A bold attempt to bring futuristic flair to film photography in the 1980s.
What I want for graduation is a Kodak disc camera. The disc winds itself, it flashes itself, makes it real hard to miss a picture.
Kodak's big innovation was shrinking film into a tiny, flat disc cartridge. allowing for a thinner, more portable camera. Unfortunately, the trade-off was disastrous. The negatives were so small that photos often came out grainy, blurry, and lacking in detail. Turns out shrinking film too much equals bad idea. Who knew? Basically, a digital notebook for your dad's briefcase. Pre-smartphone, this was where you stored birthdays, appointments, and possibly nuclear codes. It beeped, it scrolled, it made you feel like James Bond, if James Bond worked in accounting. Simon was the game that taught us memory, rhythm, and rage. One wrong button and suddenly you were plunged into digital shame with the mocking buzz of failure ringing in your ears. And that trauma lives rent-free in our brains to this day. If you could master Simon, you were either a certified brainiac, a memory wizard, or a pattern recognition prodigy. By the way, if any of these gadgets brought back memories, there are links to modern versions and nostalgic gear in the description. It's a fun way to revisit the past or introduce it to someone new. The 1980s gave us gadgets that were bold, experimental, and sometimes hilariously unnecessary. But they paved the way for the tech we have today. So next time you ask your phone to find the nearest sushi place while simultaneously playing Spotify, remember, this journey started with a Betamax tape, a calculator watch, and a cassette you had to rewind with a pencil. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you never miss another deep dive into the Retro Tech Vault. Which of these gadgets did you or your parents actually own? Let us know in the comments below, and we might feature your story in a future episode. Until next time, stay nostalgic and stay nerdy.